Well, hey there, travelers. I know, it's been a while. But, I tell you, I just got to wandering and wandered around for a while. But I figured it was about time to come on back home. So, after an unexpected hiatus and a little bit of a remodel and new direction, we'd like to welcome you back to our Coven in the country. To those joining us again, and to everyone new, welcome. I'm Yddryk, and I do, well, a little of everything. But for the first few videos, we're going to focus on making encampment upgrades, so that the next fair you're at, your campsite will be what everyone's talking about. We're going to start off first with a simple project, making a banner to hang in tapestry, to add a little decoration and personality to your site. Let's get to it. Now, it is a bit windy, so I want to apologize if there are any weird cuts. I probably had to cut out some wind audio, or I might have to talk over some, so bear with me, please. This is not going to be a historically accurate build. Honestly, the first time I make something, I look at a few pictures on the internet, look up a video maybe, and then I just kind of go for it and see what I can do with what I know how to do. So this is a pretty low-cost project. I picked up some wooden dowels from the lumber store. These actually I had left over from a former project, honestly. For the main dowel, I'm going to go with an 1.25 inch thickness. For the crossbar, which our banner will actually hang from, I think this is probably 3/4 thickness. It'll be pretty simple, kind of like that. Picked up some 2x4s for the legs. We'll cut these down to size in a second. That'll be our first step. I also picked this up just as sort of like a decorative topper. It's actually a little table chair leg type thing. I'm not doing anything historical or period specific, shape specific. Your banner can be whatever size, whatever shape. I happened to the other day at the thrift store find some nice fabric, and I could not decide what to make with it, so I was like, I'm just going to turn it into a tapestry. And then I was like, you know what, let's make it into a banner. Let's start with cutting everything down to size, getting it stained and set up ready to dry, and then we will work on our banner. To make the base, I cut my 2x4s down into 4 2-foot sections. We're going to be making a base sort of like this, just bigger. Each of these is going to be 2 foot. But this is the fashion in which we're going to fasten them together. So the way we're going to do that here today is with a pocket hole driller. Basically, you place it where you want, clamp it on, and use the special drill bits. It'll drill down to there. And then we move it over because we want 2 holes on each, so that you can put 2 screws in there, more secure, obviously. And there you go. Now that we've got our pocket holes in all 4 boards, we'll just take the sander to these, finish them up, smooth everything out. Our next step is to drill the hole in the top of our primary dowel so that we can fit the topper on top of it. Now this is a 1/4 inch bit and screw. I've got to make sure not to go too far in, but we're just going to kind of eyeball it, which I don't recommend, but you know how it goes. Alright, let's see. Yep. Well, I actually decided to go ahead and glue this on. Now we are going to attach the cross beam with a machine bolt Not again, obviously not historically accurate, but I think this is going to be more secure. We might have to do some work on the other one, but when we make the flag, we will actually make it. This will be hidden, this fixture, so it actually we won't have to worry about breaking immersion. But again, this is a 1/4 inch machine bolt, so I'm just going to drill a hole as much as I can straight through the center right here. Alright, that was not as difficult as I thought it would be. I have marked where the center of this one is, and we'll just do the same thing. Alright, now we will get everything sanded and stained. We're going to take our primary dowel, and basically we're just going to fit everything else around. We want it to be really tight so that when we place the dowel in there, it holds. After everything is assembled, your base should look like this. So we've got all our pocket holes screwed in, and this should be just actually slightly less than the diameter of our dowel. That's going to make it a little more difficult to get in, which is very good. That's going to make it secure. The machine screw that I got was not long enough, so I don't know how well you can see it in the sun, but I carved out on the table saw about half of the width of the small dowel so that it fit more secure, and it sort of gives it this, because now there's walls here, it gives it an extra bracing. Sorry with the camera there. But so that's what I did, and now it is fully assembled. We've got the banner already made. Now we need to make the little loops that go on the top of the banner so that the banner can hang on the flagpole. So I've cut out strips. We've got 5 of them. 4 of them will be the same and real simple. Then when we get to the 5th one, that'll be a little different. We'll stop and talk about that. So let's go. Start off doing the 5th one, just like the regular, but this is going to be the loop that goes over the middle. Remember, so it's got to go, it's got to have a split in the back for the screw basically to go through. It'll make more sense. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take this, get the half, and we're going to cut halfway across at the halfway mark. Alright, and now we will flip it inside out. So we did have a little rip here, but let's iron this flat, and then we'll fix that with a top stitch. So I flattened it out. As you can see, we've got this split, so it'll loop over and open up so that the center pole can attach properly. So now let's add a top stitch, and it's not the prettiest. We're just gonna sew these two together. I'm not gonna fold these edges in and tuck them in all nicely, just because it's gonna be on the back side of the flag of the banner. No one's gonna be able to see it, and I might actually use the really tight zigzag stitch to close it up anyway. But right now, let's add the top stitch. Now remember, this is the area that busted open, but we have sewed it down. Now that we have all of our flaps, I've gone through and marked out with the pins where they'll go. This is the back of our banner. So of course we'll just You know, so I'm on like that, onto the back. Okay, so when you get to your middle one, you want to make sure that the side that is split is in the back, because again, this is going to slide over, and through this is where the bolt that connects the two parts of the flagpole will go through. If you're not following, we'll get there in a second. Just remember, the slit has to go in the back. So this is a close-up view of the middle loop, the one we did a little differently. Because it has the other bar in the back, we had to cut that slit in the back of the loop. Now, we have, to make it easier to tighten up, we put the machine bolt in backwards so that the nut is on this side. We will take just our hex bolt right here and tighten it up with the drill holding it in place, and making sure the bar is level and all that, just to make sure it's real tight and snug, and that'll be it. Yeah. So as you can see, we've got our full banner here. Looks pretty good. Catches the wind a little bit. That's a few things that I might change in future builds. For one, the legs don't need to be, the crossbars on the legs don't need to be 2 foot long. I think 1.5 feet would have been just fine. And you could even put some eye holes down in the bottom and then tie a string from the bottom of your banner into a stake in the ground, or even to some of the legs, if you wanted to make it not flap around in the wind like that. But overall, I'm really happy with this. Like I said, it's not necessarily historical, but there's no wrong way to hang a flag. It'll look great in the encampment, and I'm really looking forward to using this at upcoming fairs. Thanks for watching this week's build, and join us again next week as we make another upgrade to our encampment. Until then, travelers, keep wandering.